On April 25, 2015, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Nepal, the most powerful the country had experienced in over 80 years. No one was prepared for the devastation that followed. In the cities, entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble. Nearly 9,000 people lost their lives and more than 22,000 were injured. But the earthquake's force wasn't limited to crowded urban areas. Even in the most remote regions where no buildings stood, nature showed just how unstoppable it could be. That same day, Ratnesh Pandey and many others were at Mount Everest Base Camp, preparing to begin their ascent. A GoPro had been set up to capture what was supposed to be an unforgettable adventure. Instead, it recorded something far more terrifying. Raw, disturbing footage that serves as a reminder of how powerful Mother Nature truly is and how little control we really have when it decides to strike.
Net een gigantische aardbeving geweest, nog bezig. This is scary. I look first before. Wait for a minute. Oh my god.
At that moment, they felt the earthquake and were understandably shaken once it passed, still trying to process what had just happened. The shock was enough to distract them from thinking about what usually comes next when the ground moves like that on a mountain covered in snow and ice. But then they glanced back, and that's when they saw it.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
An avalanche was tearing down the mountain with a force no one there was prepared for. A massive wall of snow, ice, and debris racing straight toward them. They ran for shelter, instinct kicking in, but deep down they knew they weren't going to make it in time. So in those final seconds, there was only one option left: brace for impact. Fortunately for them, the avalanche didn't hit the camp head-on. It tore through the area with terrifying force, but it wasn't a direct impact, and that small difference changed everything. They had just enough time to rush inside and take cover as the blast of snow and debris tore through the area. Their camp was just one of many on the mountain, and also one of the luckiest. Other camps weren't so fortunate. The avalanche hit them directly, burying everything in its path. Tragically, 19 people lost their lives, and around 50 others were severely injured. There was nothing anyone could have done, no safe place to run. All they could do was hope to survive. That's the power of nature. There are other videos from those who were hit directly, but I won't be able to post them. Now, if an earthquake feels intense at the base, can you even imagine how it feels at the top? Well, you don't have to imagine because I'm about to show you. This video comes from a group of people climbing the Kitakama Ridge. While they were at the peak, a magnitude 4 earthquake struck the area. It wasn't nearly as strong as the one in Nepal, but trust me, you would not want to experience something like this at that altitude.
There. 자, 자, 한 마리네.
壁に捕まってると落ちるよ。上まだ来てるよ。すごい崩れてるよ。ああ、槍のところも煙がね、結構すごいね。まだ揺れてるかな。
Even though it was less powerful, the quake was enough to send rocks tumbling down from the top of the mountain, nearly hitting the climbers. You can actually see one of the rocks almost strike a person, and it's terrifying. Even a small slip up there could be fatal. After the shaking stopped, the rocks kept falling, and it really makes you think. If this is what a magnitude 4 feels like at the peak, how terrifying would a 7 be? I honestly don't think anyone would have a chance to survive that. It's incredibly scary, and I can only be grateful that they weren't injured and managed to stay on top after everything. This was an experience they will never, ever forget. This next video comes from Andrei, a boy from Romania. He and his friends were out having fun, hiking a trail in Sinaia, when suddenly they came across something they had never seen before. Take a look.
Mâine sus. Mâine sus, mâine sus. Așa.
Da, dar e o problemă mai mare. Dacă te uiți foarte bine, la ăsta e pui. Și de obicei puiul vine cu mama. Acum întrebare, unde e mama?
Mă speria că îmi să mă rugăm apoi să moară băieții mei.
Alt, calmează-te.
Mâine sus.
Pe mine nu-i frică de asta, mi-e frică de măsa. Că dacă vine măsa, ne face aia din două bucăți, ne-a făcut praf pe toți.
Și faceți gălăgie, vorbiți.
O, ce bărbăt, eu toată bărbătia aici, din tine cu strigătura.
Gata, și acum așteptați un pic aici. Hai să ne întoarcem o secundă mai în spate și mai stăm și noi 10, 15, 20 minute. Și gata.
O oră mă tot pe jos să moară băieții mei, că îmi trebuie.
They were definitely shaken, but handled the situation surprisingly well for people who had never encountered a bear before. One of them even mentioned that they knew bears lived in the area, but since it was winter, they assumed all the bears were hibernating. While that's mostly true, sometimes bears, especially younger ones, emerge from hibernation in the middle of winter if they're underweight or if food is scarce. That's what makes winter bear encounters even more dangerous. They're hungrier, more aggressive, and far less predictable. Luckily, this was a relatively small bear, though they were still worried the mother might be nearby. It's hard to say if that was likely in this situation, but either way, it was a pretty scary encounter. Even though they were laughing and joking after, you can hear their fear, their voices shaking, a clear sign of how tense those moments really were. If you're into the mountain encounters videos, definitely go watch the one I uploaded not too long ago. It's really good. Or, you know, just binge all of them. Honestly, if you've caught yourself watching more than 2 of my videos, you might as well subscribe already. Come on, at this point it feels like we're building some feelings here. Oh, and we've got t-shirts and hoodies too, so if you're trying to look effortlessly cool, you know what to do. On January 8th, 2026, Aris Masip experienced something that made her question all her life choices. She almost didn't make it out alive. She was skiing at Pic de l'Hortel in Andorra with her dog, in a place she knew very well. She had visited this mountain 7 or 8 times this year, and in the 5 days leading up to the recording, this was her 3rd run down the slope. All of that familiarity made her feel safe. She didn't think anything bad could happen. After all, she'd done it so many times before, but that's exactly when danger is the most real, when you get used to something and start ignoring the risks. On this particular day, she triggered an avalanche.
Sim! Sim! Quiet, quiet, Sim, quiet, quiet! Sim, quiet! Sim! Ușor! Sim! Sim!
She was taken by snow with no way of getting out of there, reaching more and more speed while going down the mountain. Kim, her dog, was following her, risking his life to save his friend, not knowing that this would actually kill him too. That's why I love dogs. Even in the most dangerous situations, they remain loyal and want to help. Fortunately, through some miracle, the snow slowed down from slipping and eventually came to a stop. This is when she realized how lucky they were to be alive. She posted this on the internet and confessed how all the times she went there made her believe that the risk is zero. She entered in what is known as a heuristic trap, a mental bias that makes you simplify reality and overestimate safety when, objectively, the risk is there. Known place, supposed low risk, recent repetition, unambitious objective. It wasn't that the conditions were actually safe, it's that they looked safe. She learned that the hard way, and fortunately, not at the cost of her life. On January 29, 2021, a group of hikers was climbing Everest. At one point, they reached a section called the Khumbu Icefall, where they had to cross a massive crevasse using a ladder that had been set up to make the passage possible. There was simply no other way around it. This crevasse is extremely dangerous, plunging over 100 meters deep. If anyone were to fall, getting out would be nearly impossible, and surviving would be very unlikely. In this particular video, a climber was attempting to cross the ladder when something happened.
How can I help?
Your leg have to be down. Yeah, just sit down the guide rope. Wait. We will give the rope. Don't roll you. Sit, follow. Okay. One hand, flip your safety. Where? Harness, yeah. Yeah, lock. You have to lock.
For a few agonizing minutes, the man hung there, head down, suspended by just a rope, staring into the seemingly endless drop below. A team of Sherpas worked desperately, doing everything they could to save him without risking the edge giving way and sending even more people plummeting into the crevasse.
You lift it up. Wait. I'll give you a thunder. This one.
Yes. There you go. Yes.
Now wait. This one tough. This one is ready. You want me to take care? That's what I'm going to do.
If you got here, comment the word altitude.
Yes.
Slowly.
Okay, relax now. Relax now.
Catch your breath.
Catch your breath.
Safe.
Relax.
Drink water.
Okay, Alan.
I should go. Don't
Relax, Alan. Take your time, Alan. Catch your breath.
Eventually, the team managed to get him to safety. The climber was incredibly lucky not to be surrounded by people who didn't know what to do. This really proves that mountains are not for the inexperienced, especially peaks like Everest, where even today bodies remain in areas that are almost impossible to reach. Wilder Frontier is a channel where the creator shares videos about his mountain adventures, showcasing extreme climbs and glimpses into his life. One particular video stands out, the one where he hikes up a mountain and even camps there overnight. That's the video we're going to focus on, as he encountered something that made him feel extremely uncomfortable. He had hiked near the mountain, and as night slowly fell, he set up his tent and built a fire to keep himself warm.
So it's about 10:35 p.m. and I completely regret the decision of wanting to spend the night alone in the mountains. But it's too late to go home now because I am not getting out of this tent and hiking my way out in the dark alone. It's pretty cold right now. So I was using my parka as my pillow earlier, but I got too cold, so I put my parka on, and I don't have a pillow now, which isn't the most comfy, but at least I'm not freezing to death, so that's always a bonus. And by the way, it's about 1:30 right now.
But then, around 4 a.m., just as he was about to fall asleep, he was jolted awake by a sound, a noise he definitely did not expect.
So it's about 4:15 a.m. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick this up or not. We'll see.
He tried to go back to sleep, but he just couldn't, now knowing that a pack of wolves was nearby. All he could do was wait, tense and alert, for the first light of dawn to arrive.
So the howling only lasted for about 15 minutes-ish. They never came anywhere near the tent, but needless to say, I still wasn't able to go back to sleep. I'm just waiting for first light now so I can get out and start packing stuff up. Still pretty cold.
When morning finally came, he got out of the tent and made his way back home. Wolves aren't really known to attack humans, even in packs, usually only when food is extremely scarce. They probably smelled him long before he even realized they were around, so the fact that they didn't approach the tent likely meant they weren't interested in him at all. That didn't stop him from feeling like he could have been in serious danger, though. Luckily, he was safe. The wolves were just howling for their own reasons, not because of him. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. You can also turn on the bell so you'll get notified whenever I post. And if you want to keep watching, click on one of the videos on the screen. I'm sure you'll enjoy those too.